I am super stoked to have you guys along for the show. We are in episode number, what is this, three? Three episodes of in-person sales, right? Yeah. So we're going to into episode number 3. I think this is going to be awesome. I'm happy to have all you guys along for the ride. Patricia couldn't make it here tonight, so I guess I got to step in and play host. So I'm Trevor. I'm a boudoir photographer out of Toronto. I am joined by Shiri. Wave to the people. There you go. Just so we know who's who. We're joined by Shiri and also Francine, who are like incredible photographers. If you're not following them, there's something wrong with you. I'm just going to go out and say it. Whatever. So we're doing this. This whole series is brought to you by GTAImaging, or at least in conjunction with, because they're awesome. They're where we all get our stuff done. And I guess I should point out that still, given this time frame and that we're all kind of waiting for things to get going here, GTAImaging does have a super killer sale going on right now if you're watching this live. And it is 25% off all orders over $200. So what should you be doing right now? You should be looking at your sample albums. Are they up to date? Are you looking at your business cards? Are they up to date? Marketing material, promo materials, whatever else. But you should be looking
studio
at
samples.
What else?
Studio samples.
Studio samples, yes.
Yeah, you should have your samples ordered.
No. This is the time when you're getting this sweet deal that you should be looking at this. And all I'm saying is they have,
I actually extended
more, you get 25% off, right? Shiri.
Yeah. I also extended that. I extended it to my clients. Like, I just updated my studio samples. So the truth is, I was like all set, but I was like, how do I A, take advantage, and B, get in touch with my clients? So I actually, not only did I extend it to my clients, I did a Facebook boost, and yeah, I made some money. So.
Whoa.
Yay!
Yeah, I made some money on the disc. I like it. So
I like making
that was actually a really good segue, because I was going to say that after, but you're pretty much beating me to it. So I like it.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize for completing my sentences. That just means we are whatever this hand gesture means. We're on the same wavelength.
One with
right?
Level.
All good.
We're one.
So tonight, as I mentioned, we're talking about in-person sales. This is a continuing topic because we've talked a lot about, like a lot of in the past episodes, like fears, why you wouldn't do it, things about how to do it, just techniques. Last week we had an awesome guest presenter, Jennifer Gilbert, talking about how you do this when you go to people's homes, like you don't have a studio for them to come to. So that was actually really cool. And then tonight, we're going to be talking about how the three of us do it, and not just at the studio, because I really want to preface this little webinar with saying that it's important to take what we say and take elements of what each of us do and make it work for you. It's not about trying to, like reproduce exactly our process, because it is our process. I want you to listen and absorb. And one really big thing I want you to do is get your chat window open for this seminar, because I want you typing in there. If there's something you go like, yeah, that's a cool idea, I need you to throw into that chat window. That's an awesome idea. I like that. I'm using that.
Yeah.
As well as, of course, questions, because I'm going to be monitoring that as we go. But, keep active in the chat. I want to make this as interactive as we can and answer questions that we can answer as it seems relevant to as we go. But let's have some fun with this. So with that being said, who do we have leading off tonight?
I think it was you.
Was it me?
Shiri.
No, I think it's me. Yeah. Oh, see? Go for it. No, I'm totally. Yeah, like I know the first night we don't have notes and we're kiboshing it. You know what? Go for it. So I guess Trevor, you'll start. I'll be in the middle, and Francine, you can close it off.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. So I guess now I'm leading off. Not Shiri's leading off. This is just evolving all the time, and we can just do this however. But Here's what I kind of wanted to get at when it comes to in-person sales. Oh, I thought we lost Shiri for a second. The
I
screen
was
went
like,
black.
oh no.
Here's my process. In-person sales isn't just, I guess the big thing is it doesn't just start when they walk back into my studio or at a coffee shop or wherever it is that I'm meeting the people. It could be a webinar too. It doesn't start there. It starts at, usually in the booking phase when I'm setting expectations. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. I use a client management software called Sprout Studio, and I have a lot of automations set up. And automations, I think that's what they call them. I call them automations. They're basically automated emails that go out. And I start hinting at expectations and start telling them what they should expect to be doing. And some of those things might be, you are coming back to my studio to review the pictures. It might be, here's a price list. And by the way, I don't usually send a complete price list out until they've had their session. They will know about price ranges, but people have not become emotionally invested in their session yet. And because of that, I'm not giving them a price, like a price tag that, they have to pick this or they have to pick that. My automated emails also include pictures of my finished products, whether that be my glam boxes, which are kind of like what you see behind me. It's kind of like an acrylic plexi cover with a matted thing inside that just like holds them, or it's an album, or it's wall art. Those are the three primary things that I happen to sell. I know Shiri and Francine sell other stuff, and it's totally cool. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to give them, like when they finally walk in the door on the day of their session, they've kind of got a sense of what they might like to buy, and all they have to do is just kind of touch and feel. Take this, for example, like if you go and there's a new camera that some manufacturer makes, what are you probably going to do? You're going to go online, you're going to look at pictures of it, you're going to go, oh my God, it's got 3 billion megapixels, and like you're going to be like, oh, that's got a feature I like. Then you might go somewhere and you might look at it. That's basically what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build their excitement and trying to get them like, I want that one. So when they come in, I just need to quickly show them a few of the products, and usually it's while they're in the hair and makeup chair, and they're looking at this stuff, and then I'm getting a sense from them, or at least I'm trying to, by asking questions and things like that. What do you want to buy? And nowhere along the way am I emphasizing digital images. At most, what I'm going to mention is when you purchase one of my finished products, doesn't matter which one it is, it comes with the corresponding digital images. They usually say, okay, cool, and it's on to the next topic, all right? I'm really trying to not so much say that like you can't buy them, I'm just not making it a thing. I know a lot of people when they're trying to convert from shoot and burn to in-person sales, that they're very commonly, being pressured like, does it come with digital images? What about digital images? I only want digital images. I'm trying to do this the opposite way by building excitement about finished product and saying little things like, a lot of my clients love this because, a lot of my clients like that because, and I'm trying to show them benefits and features, and I'm sending them emails also about why you would want to finish your images in print not so much rather than digital images, but why you would want to finish them in print. I make a very conscious effort not to talk about digital images so that I set the expectation. So that's one thing I really wanted to bring up ahead of time, aside from just like, the regular come back to my studio kind of thing. So day of in-person sales session, this is like they've had their photos. Actually, no, I'm gonna back up just 30 seconds here. So day of their photo shoot, they have their shoot, they have a great time, they're feeling pumped. I send them a sneak peek image I touch up an image after their session. I usually get it to them within 24 hours, makes them feel great. It has my referral program on it. And then I make maybe a note, like if they had been leaning towards a glam box, I'm like, this is going to look great in your glam box. Or if they were looking at wall art, I'd be like, oh my God, can you just imagine this thing on your wall? I am soft selling and planting seeds and setting expectations the whole time. This comes into play later. So that happens. After the sneak peek, I then send them an email with a reminder of the date we confirmed for their ordering session. It also contains a link to my complete product guide. And I probably am going to open that up at some point here. And it's not so much that it really matters a lot. Where is the current one? There's the current one. So I'm going to share my screen here. And Francine and Shiri, you're going to need to just make sure that that you're seeing this and it looks okay. Like everybody can see this. So this is what I send to them. It's literally just a PDF, and they can go through it. And this is actually 2 pages side by side right now. But these are the collections that I do. So one of the things that I know both Francine and Shiri are going to be talking about is like going from one collection or package to the next. In my case, the way I have structured my pricing is I will, like the page on the left where it says allure and the other one that starts off at the top of saying seduce, they are, those are 2 separate pages, but I always start with the most expensive first rather than the least expensive first and then work up. So I go top down rather than bottom up. It's not to say one way is better than the other. It doesn't, I'm not sure it makes a huge difference, but from my perspective, what I've found is doing this, I guess what I've found is just doing this helps me, because when people see the top one and they go, oh, well, I don't really want to spend $6,500, you know, they will very likely be like, okay, it makes the next one look more affordable. And this I got to be honest with you guys, this $6,500 package, I've never sold. Okay, it's there to make the second most and third most collection look really attractive. That's it. That's the only reason it's there. But what I do, and this is like a little interesting bit of sales psychology, is if you look at most of these collections, you'll see in red there's like a print credit. This is something that like a little trick I learned, and it works really well, I think, because what it does is it says, okay, the Captivate collection, if we look at that one, it's the second down on the left side. It's $4,500, but you get a $3,500 print credit. Now, please understand that $3,500 does not come off the $4,500. What it's there for is for additional stuff. So if they wanted to get more images, because you'll notice all my collections, the pricing and the collection is based on number of images. And I think you would all have to adjust this for what you're doing. 65 images for a wedding photographer makes 0 cents. It's too few. For a headshot photographer, 65 images is way too many. You have to kind of find your numbers that work. But as you get more images, the price goes up with me. That's basically what I'm doing. And the print credit, so if they, let's say, looked at the Captivate collection, they had a $3,500 print credit. What does that mean for them? Well, they can buy wall art, they can dress up their book, they could make their album bigger, they could add more images, they could engrave the box or whatever. So they have this ability to buy extra things. Now, here's where the psychology for my system comes in. When I say, okay, the price is $4,500, but you get a $3,500 print credit, and they go, oh, cool, I can get a whole bunch more stuff for free, and they almost forget about that $4,500 number. That's where the print credit comes in for me. If they don't use the print credit at the order session, they lose it. It's not like they go, okay, well, I'll get 5 more images or whatever, and I'll leave $1,000 for later. That's not the way this works. It's done at the ordering session. So if they go over that $3,500, they can get 30% off of anything. And I think if I scroll down one more page on this, yeah, you can see like there's the upgrades and add-ons. So I've priced things so that, you know, there's some pretty decent margin in the album upgrades, in buying things like the acrylic blocks or buying wall art. You know, they can chew up a lot of that print credit pretty fast. But they see this as almost like a freebie. Like they're like, ooh, I get extra stuff. I get extra stuff. I get to get that wall art.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I valued it at that, but the whole point of that print credit that I do is really a psychological one, where I'm trying to get people to stop looking at the price and start focusing on all the extras they can get, because people will gravitate more to the free stuff than they will like looking at just a price. Now, my average, the average sale I do is the Seduce, which is over here, which is $2,500. But a lot of times people get into the range where they can go, from Seduce to Vixen, you know, me selling 31 to 40 images is a piece of cake for me. Like, I can do that every single session in a 1-hour photo shoot. That comes with experience. Don't think that, you know, you just have to have enough variety. And that's where it's tricky with different genres of photography. With me, I get to have different sets. I get to have different outfits. I get to have sitting, standing, kneeling, laying down poses. Like, there's a lot of different things I can do versus, say, a headshot photographer, which is going to be trickier. Weddings, of course, you're going to have infinite variety because you have all sorts of different locations and pairings of people and all that kind of stuff. So for me, at least, I'm usually showing people when they walk in the door for their reveal session, I'm showing them a minimum 50 images. Most of the time, I'm showing them about 70. These have been culled down. They are color corrected. They are edited. I pay my retoucher to retouch images that people may not actually buy. I need to be very clear about that. It cost me about $2.50 an image to have it retouched. I don't have necessarily like an absolute minute granular retouch to these, but I have something very much good enough. So if I needed to go in and do anything else, it will probably take me 30 seconds. But the skin stuff is fixed. The bulges are fixed. Like the pimples are fixed, like bruises are gone, those kind of things, right? So they are very much 99% ready to go. And then I just need to tweak it if even applicable. 90%, 99% of the time, I don't even need to do that. But here's something I do. Like if you go from my Seduce collection, which is in the top right, to the Vixen, normally these pages line up on top of each other, so it's a little easier to see. But with this, I have an 8x8 block album. So it's one of the GTAImaging Renzo books, but it's got a black cover only. It's the Pebble Black Leatherette, which is an included cover. If they want to upgrade it, they can. There is an upgrade fee. There's where some of that print credit comes in. But by default, that book is a very simple book. And when you go to the Vixen collection, it gives you the option to go for a bigger book, go from an 8x8 to a 10x10 if you want, but it comes with like an actual hardcover book to it. So that's one of my selling points. If you go from this to this, you get that. But notice you also get more of a print credit. So I'm trying to draw people and to step up. And if they already love 40 images, well, it makes sense to go to this. And this is how I'm stepping them up. But it's a pretty good way of doing this. You're always trying to get people to go from the collection they maybe thought they wanted to the next one up. If you can do that, you will be able to make some money. And in this case, at on a $3,500 sale, even if they add $2,000 worth of print credits, those print credits, remember, like it's not like they cost me $2,000. Even if they added a piece of wall art, it might cost me sub $500. If they added a few album upgrades, it's not going to cost me much. 90% of the time, people use that print credit for additional images in their book. So what does it really cost me? An extra couple pages in the book? A few more images that are already retouched that they now buy? But it's easy for them to use this up. And if they get some wall art, okay, awesome. Now they got this beautiful piece of artwork on their wall, and 90% of the time they'll go over the price when they order the wall art. So I have found that whatever the print credit is, they'll usually spend about $500 more. The only exception is if I was to sell that allure package, because there's so many print credits, I don't think anybody could fill that up unless they legitimately ordered 3 30 by 45 images. That'd be like the only way they're going over on that. But as I said, that's a decorative collection in the whole grand scheme of things. So that is kind of what I'm doing here. I haven't seen any questions yet. I'm kind of surprised by that.
There's one from Robin, but just
but that was just like we introduced ourselves at the front end, and so we've all been doing this for quite some time. At least I know I'm 8 years. Shiri,
7.
you're 7. Francine, you're about the same, right? So we've been doing this for a while. And although to answer Robin's question, sort of a little bit more detail in a more detailed way, like I've done variations of all in-person sales. I've always done in-person sales because I listened to the interwebs and they all said, this is the way to do it. So I just kind of started doing that way. And I have done a couple instances where I let people pick images just as an experiment, and each time it was the worst decision I ever made because they'll find a way to make it so they don't buy anything. But that's some of my process. And I'm just going to get back to me talking. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen. Okay, and going back to me. There's just a couple other notes I want to make. When people do this at my studio, I have a 60-inch TV. I recently got it. I didn't spend a ton of money on it, but it is a 4K TV and it is an HDR screen. So that means that my images, especially the dark ones, don't end up all black and then some white. So there's actually mid-tone tonality in this. So when you are going to a client's house, that is one thing you may have to compensate for. You may want to make a few monitor presets just to make things a little brighter for their screen if it looks dark. Color balance and color accuracy is always going to be a problem with a TV, but there are ways around it. And now that I kind of know this TV, and it's got an Apple TV, not an Apple TV, like an AirPlay thing built into it. So I can just take my laptop, open the lid, hit mirror display, and then I can use something like Smart Albums to show people their images. And that's kind of how I do things. If they're ordering an album, I take those retouched images, I drop them into the album, I design this thing. It takes me, if it took me 10 minutes, I'd be surprised. I basically arrange things like if we do 3 outfits, I might put, like we may have shot the first outfit, but it may go last in the book or some form of combination. But I mean, I'm not going to mix outfits together because that makes no sense. You need like a logical flow. And I kind of, in my case, I go light to dark. It doesn't have to be that way. And the client, as they're choosing the images, we're also tackling the album design. So by the time we're done, I have a proofed album ready to go. And with the exception of maybe on a client request, they go, hey, can you just tuck my tummy in a little bit more? I go, yeah, no problem. I do that real quick after the meeting, or I've made some notes as we've gone along to do that. I do those changes. I hit export. It goes to the lab. I'm done. Like, hands off, done. So I can have an album, which is the longest product I need to make, like lead time anyway.
Trevor, I just got sorry, can everyone see us? I just got a text message that it looks like something happened. Can people put in the, like, I don't know, somebody who's watching just sent me a text message that they lost us. Oh no, Jenny can see us.
Hi, Jen. Hi, Pam.
Okay, good. And we
Okay,
also
thanks
know
guys.
everybody's alive.
So yeah, so it's just Eric. Okay, so hold
Hi,
on.
guys.
Okay, Eric, try logging in, logging off, maybe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Eric
I'm
also
texting.
asked me a question specifically about my black book option. The black book is just like it's whatever number of images, like the image range. And
There we go.
okay, it's just an image range, like number of images in it, and it's just a standard Renzo book with the block material cover. So it's going to be a black. I wish I had one here. I don't.
have one. I have
You
one.
do?
Hold on.
Okay, well, you grab that. It's simple. It's low cost. I think this 8x8 book might cost me
So
$80.
it's kind of like this. Oh, hold
There you
on,
go.
my headphones. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Is it kind of like this, just thicker? No?
It's exactly like that. It's a 20. It's more or less a 20-page book, and it's about $80. And if they want to upgrade the cover, they can do that. So I give them upgrade options. So as I was saying, I do a lot of like during the actual sales session, and we're trying to eliminate images. My job is to make this very difficult. Like it should be like when they're looking at images, they should feel like, do I want to buy more images or cut off my little finger?
Yeah.
Like it should be difficult for them. If you're doing your job right as a photographer, that's kind of what it is. People and that's why when they become emotionally invested, that's why it's so important for them to not see your prices beforehand. Or like, I'm not saying hide it. I'm not trying to be sneaky about this, but I'm trying to say that if they're not emotionally invested, the price is just a number and it doesn't make sense to them yet. When they see the value of what you create, the way you've made them feel, the way they're like, oh my gosh, I have such a connection with this, the money becomes less of an issue. But right out of the gate, I think people will be a lot more of a sticker shock problem, which is why when I'm talking to people on the phone during consults, they're like, how much do you charge? I'm like, well, depends what you want. I mean, my collection starts at $950 and it goes up from there, but it all depends what you want. And I mean, nobody really decides what they want until the ordering session. And to be honest with you, I mean, I make these 3 finished products, and once again, not mentioning digital images, and you know, they just go, okay. And I sometimes will make the point of saying, you know, although my collection start at $950, people will spend more. Sometimes they spend $2,000, sometimes they spend $3,000, but it all depends on the person. And I can't speak for you yet because we don't know. And at that point, price is now done. And then I guess the last thing we do is if somebody is sitting, or the only point I'm going to make from my process is, aside from, you know, asking questions along the way and them going, okay, I like this. If they're getting to a point where they're like, oh my God, we're at 40 images and I need to get this to some number, I can't spend this amount of money. At that point, I am instantly going to my payment options, which in my case are spaced out 3 payments over 60 days. So you'd make a third of the payment today, like with me that day, and then a third 30 days, and the final third 60 days from now. So it puts it on 3 different credit card statements, and they just go from there. And that just works for me. But the caveat I said is if you want the finished products, you cannot have them until the final payment is received. Okay? So usually I send to the lab after the second payment's made, because at that point I know I've made more than the cost of the product. It's a little bit of a risk, but you know, if I kind of read the person, if the person seems legit after the second payment's made and they're all good, okay, I'm probably going to send the order in a few days later. But they also don't get digital images until it's done either.
That's a big thing.
But yeah, like after that, I just try to hand deliver stuff as much as humanly possible. And I get the wow response. And I always, as much as I possibly can these days, try to get video or a photo of them receiving the finished product with a big smile on their face, because that is like social media gold. And that's where I will end some of my in-person sale process.
Awesome.
Okay. So I'm going to pass it off now, and we'll talk about how we do it differently. And it's like, no, we don't even have to get into pricing or anything like that. It just can be whatever.
So let me go, because I'm actually not going to be as long, because the truth is a lot of things, Trevor, that you do, I pretty much piggyback off it. Like, it's a very, very similar process. So is that okay, Francine? Are you good?
Oh yeah, I didn't want to go. I was just saying that maybe we should answer. I don't know, Trev, did you answer Pam's question?
Oh,
Sorry,
for me, for Pamela's question, my answer is yes.
Oh yeah.
So I don't send anything to print unless I have a written approval from the client.
Yeah.
Oh,
Basically,
okay,
yeah.
Trev.
Sorry, Pamela. I thought I saw. I guess I breezed over that. While we're sitting there during the order session, like when they've decided on like the number of images, the collection, and the payments made, I'm like, is the book good to go? And they're like, yep. Or just like, we just need to fix up those one or two little things. But I don't send them album proofs after. I do not want to do that, because then they're like, oh geez, maybe I can find 10 images I don't love that much. So like, we're part of the reason I do it in person rather than using album proofing software is that if I let them go, they will find a way to spend less. All right. And at the end of the day, they're not going to be as happy because they're not going to get all those images. Like, they just disappear and they never see them again. But this way they do get them, and I get to make a little extra cash, which is why I do it.
I'm going to say, I'm going to be the other person here. I actually don't. I don't get them to approve their album designs after it's designed. I'll get into this after, but I just say, you know, I think I've designed so many of these, you guys just need to trust my judgment. Most of the time though, if they're really adamant that like, no, we have to see it for whatever the reason, I never have that. I've had that once. Then I do, but most of the time they're like, oh, you know, we're gonna take a look at the album after. I'm like, nope, just trust my judgment. It's gonna look awesome. And I do, and I've never had a single complaint, not one. So there you go, Jen, or Pam, sorry.
So again, like, we all kind of do something similar, but yet different. It's really whatever works for you, in my opinion, because the truth is in my mind, sales should come. Are you hearing me okay? I just got a warning that I'm getting a slow internet connection. Am I good? I'm good. Okay. So for me, so one thing I think I should kind of correct myself. I've been a newborn and family portrait photographer for 7 years. I've been a photographer for 10 years because I actually started as a wedding photographer. So just based as the transition from my bride and grooms, they started having babies. I found that was way more into my happy place, just to be with like families and babies. So I got out of weddings. Now, I actually didn't start IPS like my wonderful colleagues here. I actually was a all-inclusive, here's your 100 photos on a burn DVD for $350, $400 back then. And I thought I was like in the gold. Clearly, I was not. I hired a mentor, and I started to realize and try to figure out what works best and how to do it, and how to be comfortable selling it, how to feel confident in my art that people will actually buy it, how to figure out my process. So much like Trevor, my process is extremely similar, where I actually also have packages. I have 4 packages. The IPS for me truly starts at the phone call, because I'm actually a little bit of like a soft seller, where I like for my client to know everything up front. So once we get to the photo review and the IPS, that it's not a matter of, what the money is, or like there's still an emotional connection, maybe just like with the babies or whatever, but it's also about just, okay, here are your images, and which package do you want to go with? So with that, I actually show my price list. During the phone call, I don't tell them, okay, so package 1 is this, package 2 is this, package 3 is this, because it's literally just numbers. And at that point, it doesn't matter. I explain my process. I explain my experience. I explain what my studio offers and how I want them to be part of my process. I explain to them that, my packages start from X. My packages start at $650 and they go up to $2,500 or whatever it is. It's all in between. And I do say that I have a most popular package. I don't. It's whatever they want. But I find that when I say, this is my most popular package, which is I'm already leading them to say, oh, well, this is what most people are getting. This is also me kind of, setting the bar of what I want them to spend before they've even seen their images. So when we get into the session, or even before the session, I also send them prep guides. They know that they are not going to see the images until after their session. So I have and try to actually do my IPS right after their session. So if my newborn session is 2 to 3 hours, and the baby's sleeping and we're not in a hurry, I will actually say, why don't you feed the baby or like hang out or whatever. I quickly go through my process. So I call the images. So I typically show around 30 to 40 images. So my numbers are obviously like a lot lower, and my packages reflect those little bit smaller of like the fine art selection. My top package, if somebody goes for every single digital file, it's no more than 40. And that's just how I've decided. And that actually works within my workflow of how I photograph, whether it's a newborn, maternity, like whatever I'm photographing. So during the photo review, we see all of the images. I use ProSelect as my IPS software. It allows them, so I put it like to a slideshow. I have like Kleenex, like I have it to music, like it's, I get all the feels and they love it. Even if I do the IPS after, like if I don't do it like right after the session, I still don't edit the images. Because my IPS are typically like a week after anyways. I try to just get them like in and out kind of thing and like just have a really quick turnaround. And the truth is because I'm only shooting around 40 images, my turnaround, my editing is very, very quick. I shoot very clean. I'm a very like natural, organic like photographer, unless I'm doing digital composites, which those I do edit. A lot of people don't obviously have the creativity in their mindset. They need to see what it looks like. So I will pre-edit my digital composites, but that's pretty much it. If I know the mom feels uncomfortable during the session because of the baby weight, the postpartum, I will actually edit those images because I don't want her to have the excuse of saying, I look terrible, because no new mom looks terrible. It doesn't even exist in our realm. But I understand that the perception of what somebody feels versus what somebody looks, what the camera captures, if I know during the photo shoot that the mom does feel uncomfortable in her own skin, those I will go in and I will edit. But again, the truth is I shoot clean. It maybe takes me 20 minutes, like 15 minutes. I get the galleries ready. They sit down. Again, I also have a 55-inch TV in my studio where I tether my computer. They see the images really, really nice and big. They sit on a couch. I have like beverages and snacks. So it's really just like a nice environment for them, and it's not stressful. And I always say, like, a lot of times when people see their images, regardless of your genre, for the most part, they love all the images. And I say, like, they always say to me, great, here, just take all of our money. We want them all. I said, awesome, here's the package. But then, like, as kind of like, I don't even know the word, where I try, like, well, why don't we try to see where we are with your images? I still want you to go through them. And then we start to like narrow down. If they truly can't narrow down, then yeah, that's fantastic. And that happens a lot as well. But my kind of sweet spot of like selling images or selling a package is my package that includes 20 to 25 images. So it's an easy narrow in a sense. It's in a price point that I'm happy that they're happy. All of my packages include a hybrid solution of tangible products, and it's an album, and the albums just go up in size, some type of tangible wall art, and then digital files. Now, I actually have the option of people just purchasing digital files. It's there. There's bundles. Because, you know, like we all know, when someone's like, oh, well, I just want the digital files. And you're like, great, no problem. This is what they are. Here is the price point. And I have never sold it, ever. I have never sold just my digital bundles. It's always been a package, because the art of pricing, it makes no sense for them to just get the digital files. I also have pull-throughs, same way, where regardless of which package they have, I try to get them to the next one, always pushing them more. I also have upgrade options. So if somebody wants to go with like a smaller package, the best scenario that I can come up with is like, if the baby is like non-cooperative and I really like, we're sweating, we're in this for hours, you know, I just can't get any more images. And I know that it's not going to be like a 40 image gallery. So the narrowing down is going to be low as well. This is when I'm bringing in the upgrades. You know what, why don't you go with the package that has 12 digital images, but let's upgrade your album to a bigger like album. Let's add some wall art in there. And if you look at my pricing, or like for the clients, when we go through the pricing, I have a la carte pricing and I have upgrade pricing. The difference is if somebody goes with a package, they're already pre-bundling and discounting the package. So an upgrade is actually even discounted if they go to the a la carte. So the truth is I have a la carte pricing. I have never once sold a la carte pricing. It's just there to make everything else look good. That's just truly why I put it there. So my packages make more sense as why people should go. So I actually just recently went to packages. So for 7 years doing IPS, or 6 years doing IPS, I was a la carte. I had session fee, and then I had an a la carte menu where it's literally choose from the menu, and that's it. And obviously I was successful. I've been doing this for many years. It kept me going. Every year I would make more money and everything. Last year, I made the decision to try packages for the first time with pull-through items and try to figure out exactly, you know, what works for me. And I started in March of 2019 to introduce this new method of packages with pull-throughs and upgrades. And in, I guess, less than a year, my revenue increased by 30%. And it's not necessarily because my prices were less or more, it's because also I felt more comfortable on selling, right? Because, you know, again, like I always like my selling process to be from beginning to end, from the phone call stage. So by the time, even during their session, the same as Trevor, like I say, you know, this would be great for an album cover, or this would be great for like, so I sell a lot of clusters. As a family newborn photographer, I typically, in my packages, they don't have big pieces. It's an option. But I like to sell clusters. So I say, how great would this be of like sibling, baby, parent, and then like we'll add stuff for your wall cluster. So I'm also like planting the seed to ensure that they're already thinking, oh yeah, absolutely. I'm showing them a couple photos from behind the camera, so that way they know that the photos look beautiful. Typically I do that with mom holding baby or siblings, because those are always money shots. So if you know that you've like, you know, rocked out the sibling shot, or rocked out like the mom holding baby, like her first like baby, it's like done. The other thing is, if I'm not going to do the IPS right after the session, I don't let anybody leave my studio without having an appointment scheduled for when they're going to come back for the IPS. Like when I say to them, okay, like this is fantastic, you know what, we've been here for a long time, or we have things to do, people to go, like whatever, we have to go. We can't do the IPS right away. I said, let's figure out a time in our schedules next week or whenever suits for you to come back. And that's it. Now, I also do Zoom IPS. I've actually started gravitating a little bit more to that just because of my personal lifestyle. If they need like evening appointments, it's kind of hard for me to step out and do evening appointments. So I've actually started offering Zoom IPS. If I know that this is very important. How do you have somebody touch and feel and fall in love with a product if they're on Zoom? It's very difficult. And it's one of those things where you have to make sure that if you know that this is going to be Zoom, before they leave the studio, I actually like walk them through it. Like, so I say, this is my standouts. These are my canvases. These are my frame canvases. These are my wood products. These are the albums. Here are the different sizes of the albums. These are the different covers that you can have with the albums. And we take about 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it takes to go, it's not half an hour because then I could just do the IPS. So it's like usually like 10, 15 minutes to go through all the products. When I do the Zoom call, I also either have the products with me so I can Vanna White it for them. And I've also, because I'm screen sharing anyways, I actually have a PDF where I've created a product guide of images of the product. So I take the pictures and I'm like, oh, do you remember this? And they're like, oh, yeah, that's what we want or whatever. So, and in truth, like my packages are pretty simple. Like I think they're pretty simple and straightforward. I have, like I said, 4 packages. I typically tend to sell my package 3 and my package 4 because my package 1 and my package 2 are there. But again, the way that I shoot, if somebody goes with a lower package, they just add stuff to it anyways, at which point I'm like, well, why don't you just go to the next package? Because now you're upgrading the package and you're getting more. So like I come out the hero, they're super happy, they've spent money, and you know, we're good that way.
So we just got a question here, if I can jump in for just a sec.
Yeah.
So Shiri, Pamela's asking, are you able to let us know what your 4 collections include? I mean, we're not really here to get into like nitty gritty of like.
But I can kind of say it the way I talk to a client, like, cause
yeah,
like
let's hear that.
Yeah. So when I'm on a call with a client, somebody just calls as a, you know, consultation or whatever. I say I have, you know, 4 packages for you to choose from. Everything has been built based on experience. My first package is $650 and it includes 5 8x10s and 5 digital files to match. My top package includes all the digital files, which is typically around 30. So I always actually say less than what I include. Because then when I do the IPS and I'll be like, oh, well, you know what, we have 40. And I know in my head it's always 40. At least I try to get to 40. They also kind of feel like I'm giving them a little bit of a break. But I'm also under promising and over delivering. Because if I get like 32 and I don't get to that 40, it's still over what I've told them. So that's my package 1. Then starting from package 2, 3, and 4, it includes albums. So my package 2 is, and now I don't even talk about price because it doesn't matter at this point. So my package 2 includes a small petite album, which is 6x6 and 12 images in the album. Then my next package, which is my most popular package because I find that people just gravitate, it gives you a really nice variety of imagery. It's something for your wall because it includes a cluster of images. It includes an 8x8 album with upgrade options. It includes 20 digital files to match. And then my most, or the top package is, again, all the digital files. You get much bigger wall clusters and you get a 10x10 album. And then I just leave it like that because then before they can even ask me questions, I try to then move into why or how. So like, you know, the studio is fully equipped with X, Y, and Z. This is what you're going to get. I'm going to provide you with a full service starting from beginning to end because you're investing in my time. You know, in your time, you just had a brand new baby. You're going to be so busy. Let me help you do everything. You just have to bring me a baby and I will do everything from start to finish. You just have to put a nail in the wall and you're good to go. You're golden.
Yeah, so, you went like really bold with that. You'd be like, it doesn't even need to be your baby. Just bring me a baby.
Just bring me a baby. Yeah, it's like, you know, so again, like I try to keep it really light and friendly. Like even during the IPS, like sales. Again, I try to keep it light and airy. You know, even having a $650 starting point, it's kind of like a door crusher. It's just to kind of get them in to be like, oh, okay. But my average sales are anywhere between $1,500 to $1,800. I've had well over $2,000-3,000 sales. So like, it's possible. It's just a matter of how you do it, your confidence level, your creativity of your pricing, what makes sense to you, and you know, how you can sell it to the client to, because it really is, I think, regardless of the genre that you're doing, it truly is emotional. And I think that's what it's about. Like, they need to love you, they need to trust you first and foremost, then they love their images, and then they can't say no to the products. And if you don't give them any other, like, if you don't give them any other option, like if you don't even, like if you say choose a package, you're going to get product, and they don't have any other option, then it's kind of like an easy sell and a no-brainer. And I think I'm going to finish off with that strong point, because I think I covered everything that I do.
Cool.
Questions?
So before I flip over to Francine, there's just a couple things I wrote down that I think I just want to like highlight or re-highlight because they're just brilliant things. You say,
I was getting nervous.
yeah,
I love when Trevor does this, by the way. It makes you feel so good.
I know. I love it.
Here's the thing. When you said money shot, you know that there are certain shots that just work, right?
Yeah.
Like I've got the same thing, and I'm sure, Francine, you are exactly the same way. Like, you know that in every session I need to do this shot, this shot, this shot, this shot, and this shot. It will always sell, right? I can't stress enough how important that is for an IPS session. Like, if you haven't got your mental shot list, it's tough to do this if you're just kind of hacking your way through it.
Yeah.
If you can get good at just getting into a shoot rhythm, like whether it's with people, babies, pets, whatever, if you can find that, you can make some money with this. So that really made sense. And you also made mention, when it comes to images, the number of shots. You're trying to shoot for a number of pictures, just as I think I mentioned as well. Like,
yeah.
You can do that on a consistent basis and go, okay, the average person's going to get, pick a number. It doesn't matter for whoever. It could be 20, it could be 50. But like, I need them to get 50. You don't start showing them 50. You show them 70. If they're going to get 20, you show them 35, say, right? That's a really important aspect of IPS, I think, and it's very underrated. It's not something I see called out a lot, is showing them more than they're probably going to buy, because that's what'll do this. The other thing that you mentioned, upgrades. This is like, design your collections or packages or whatever you want to call them so that there is an upgrade option, because that's where your extra money lies. Like, if you could find $600 on any given set, I'm making a number up here, by the way. Just if you could find $600 just by allowing them to engrave a book or buy an extra cluster piece, instead of 3, they get 4. Like, whatever it is, if you're offering those upgrades, you've not only taken them not just into the best possible package, maybe they're in the 3rd tier package in Shiri's case, but they got to the next, you got extra money from them just by having an option. And it makes it feel like you're customizing this for them, and it's just all warm and feely. And yeah, you also mentioned this, and I was going to save this for the end, but I think I'm going to forget if I don't. I know a lot of us don't have studios, but it just dawned on me, Shiri, when you said this. Like, I don't even know why we didn't talk about this, like, or really hammer the point home with Jen last week. Is for you to do in-person sales, it doesn't have to be physically in person these days. Like, I do the occasional Zoom chat or something to show people their images, but I don't do it very often. I just think, come to my studio, do it physically next to me. But no studio, no problem, right?
Yep.
I think if you guys, for those of you that don't have studios, I would suggest getting good at doing these Zoom chats.
Yeah.
And figure out your own little Vanna White, check this thing out on my wall that I'm
Yeah, it
holding.
took me, listen, I was so nervous the first time I ever did it. I was like sweating, falling over my words. You know, how's the internet connection? Like it's nerve-wracking because you're not there. But in truth, like once I figured out my groove, like it was like so yesterday I actually did a Zoom IPS because of the GTA sale, because so this client was from 2015, 16 and 17 and did a lot of my mini sessions and never printed anything. So she was super overwhelmed by the selection. So I said, no problem, let's just do it through Zoom. We did it at 8 o'clock at night. The kids were sleeping. We spent 52 minutes and it was $1,000 sale.
Wow. That's
Like,
nice for the coin.
like, right? Like, and again, it's not a matter, again, it doesn't matter about the money. It's about the experience, and it's about the service that you can offer your clients to make their life easy. And that for me, it's like, I'll change the baby's diaper, like whatever. And they're like, seriously? I'm like, yeah, full service. And I make a joke about it. Like, and I do, like, I make a joke, right? Like, but it's one of those things where the really, like the small little things where you can make someone else genuinely feel amazing, it like mirrors. You've built a relationship, you've built a trust. Like, so we're getting a couple questions here. I'm just gonna, do you start, so from Pamela again, do you all start with phone consultations or an email? So I'll just do super quick. If I get a phone call, I will obviously 1,000% do my consultation on a phone call. If they send me an email, it depends on the email. So if I get an email saying how much, and like that's it, like a one-liner, which happens more often than you would think, like literally, hi, how much? So I'll basically say, for what? Like I won't even bother, right? Like I just like, what do you want from my life? And I know that those are just price shoppers, but if I get an email that says, hi, I've been to your website, I love your work, I follow you on social media, on Instagram, blah, 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 and they really start listing things about, I will actually say, I would love to get on a phone call with you. When can I call? Or if it's during the day, I'll just pick up the phone and I'll just call, because my my website makes them put in their phone number. You build a better relationship through phone. I actually want to start. I'm not perfect on the phone because I a lot. Like I stumble over my words. I want to actually try. This is my new kind of pushing the boundaries, to do consultations through Zoom meetings. Where I'll be like, I'd love to see you, I'd love to talk to you, you know, instead of doing like, because I know like when I used to be a wedding photographer, there was never anything on the phone. It's like, let's book an appointment, I want to come and see you, I bring my albums, we have a conversation, and it's like in person for wedding photography. Then with like newborns and family, I started getting on the phone, but I'm not so comfortable. I want to try this year, and I haven't tried it yet, so I will let you know. If somebody calls me, I'm going to send them a Zoom meeting. And we're going to do it face to face, because I'm way more comfortable talking to somebody and seeing their reaction and piggyback over that. So that's going to be my new thing. So I'll let you know how that goes. Sorry, that was longer than I thought it was going to be.
No,
sorry.
Those are like really cool points. And yeah. And I think we had one other question from Shannon. Doing an IPS without a studio and with 90% of my clients living far away and out of province, it's been my struggle and stuff.
Can I answer this?
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
Because that'll lead into you talking later.
Right. Okay, Shannon. I've thought long and hard about this while we have not been able to see clients. In the reality is that even though you cannot see your clients because you know they're far away, maybe they don't want to come in, maybe for whatever the reason you don't have a physical space, you can still do it through Zoom. But I think it's very, very important to, while you're shooting, like you're going to be shooting in person. There's, you do the shoots in person. Bring your products with you. Bring your products with you. And at the very end of the session, when, you know, they're feeling amazing and, you know, it's so emotional and, Oh, that's okay. Okay, so let me rephrase that then. Sorry.
Well, the wedding, you do it at the console, right? You show them at the
So
console.
you would do it when you book, and so when you meet with them and you do your pre-consult, and you send you know you talk about pricing and you do the your what's it called when you first pay, like your first initial payment for wedding photographers. As you can see, I don't do that many weddings. Then you would show them your products then. And even if you don't meet them in person, I think it would be a good idea then to do a product guide similar to what Jen had last week. I was trying to get my husband to bring in mine, but he was lost and confused. So you have a, I kept on texting him. So what you would have is a physical book of a catalog almost. Like, remember, I don't know if you guys were ever like this, but getting the IKEA catalog in the mail, like that once a year catalog used to be a big deal. And I would try and recreate kind of a catalog of your beautiful images and your beautiful products shot in a beautiful way, and you send that off. And then you include in your pricing either product or print credit. I know you guys, when we were kind of talking about this, we had different views on this. I think we're going to touch on it a little bit next week, or we're going to talk about it next week specifically for event photographers. But I would definitely, if you're not seeing them in person, you're going to send them something in print, like a magazine and like printed product, because you really want to stress the feel and the touch of like beautiful product. Even if you never see them and it's all done virtually until the day of the wedding, you still want them to feel like to open this beautiful package in the mail with these beautiful things and like a beautiful magazine and handwritten letters and whatever. Like, all of that matters. So yeah, I didn't realize you were a wedding photographer when I opted.
That's
I'm gonna
awesome.
actually just, sorry, I want to actually just jump really quick on something that Francine, you just said. Wedding photographers, one thing that they have that portrait photographers typically don't is time. Because somebody will book you anywhere between 3, 6 months, a year. When I was doing wedding, I mean, sometimes I would like get pre-booked like a year and a half to 2 years in advance. Like it's really, really great. So what you can do is exactly what Francine said, is start off by showing them something tangible, because the end process is you want them to leave with something tangible. Even if you're shooting 1,000 to 2,000 images for their wedding, like, you want to make sure that every one of your clients leaves with an album, leaves with a wall, like something tangible and not the digitals. So if you know that you have time on your hand, you mail them. Like, I know Jennifer, like she was talking about this last week. So Jennifer Gilbert does this, where she will mail a welcome package that will have some, like, the packages and what it includes, and like a little like photograph of who you are, how long you've been in the industry, your product guides, and like even maybe an appointment card, that says, let's get together so you can physically see my stuff. And you just have to mail it to them. They physically see how beautiful, make sure it's done like really nicely, and you're already stepping up and setting the bar of like what you do. And
like,
I think
cool do you look when something shows up in the mail that looks beautiful like that?
yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I would say with whatever that guide is, if you're going to print it, keep it to images mostly. Don't throw a lot of text on it.
Right.
Like, I'm going to really quickly share something just so you can see what I'm talking about. Here's a little PDF that I have used in the past. This needs to be updated because I got to change my prices, but I just mocked up some wall art on the wall with some stock images that I purchased. And I have a little, here's the 3 sizes I do. I don't put measurements on this. I'm trying to frame it in relation to a couch, but you could do this with your albums. You could do this with like wall art. You could do this with whatever. The point here is that you're trying to show people the product. And when you're not physically there to do a physical in person, you still have them understanding what this is, and you can reference this as you talk to them. So whether you mail a printed thing or whether you make a really slick PDF that they could have while you're talking, this will help you facilitate a lot of that virtual in-person sales. And that's like money right there. That was really, we didn't even plan on talking about that.
No, I know. We're taking away from
best ideas we've had by accident.
Yeah, no, for real, because I have I actually made a note of it that I am going to do that. Like I just kind of randomly thought of it, and I made a note that I'm going to start doing that.
Okay, so Francine, let's take her home. Let's do this. Big closing.
No
big closing.
Pressure. No pressure. All right, guys. So I want to first point out that it's not sales for me. What is really important is for me is that you get the clients invested in the experience. We're not even talking images at this point. You want to get them attached to you, right? Like that's how I feel. So from the time I get an email or a web thing that gets sent to my email from my website, as you can see, I'm so tech savvy. Like I don't even know what they're called. I also have it so that I have their phone numbers in. So instead of me replying to their email, I will say, hey, or I'll just call them and say, hey, I had a few minutes to chat. I saw that you sent me an email. Let's talk about things. And again, because I'm selling experience, I'll ask them, how are you feeling in your pregnancy? How are you managing with the toddler and the baby? I get them talking about themselves. So I almost start becoming a friend from the very beginning. It's not about you need to pay this amount of money to work with me. I mean, I do have a standard of that. But it's more underlying. Most of the time, I'm just, I get to know them. And then when they come in, like before people even find me, they see products on my Instagram. They most of the time will see some type of tangible physical product. And like at a clinic or at the ultrasound place or wherever it is that they find me, so they actually see a physical product, so they have that in mind and they see the beauty of the product even before I've ever met them, most of the time. And then I get them on the phone. I talk to them on the phone. When I do the pre-consult or like the booking call, I will say, most of my clients will purchase at least one professionally done print or more before they decide on their digitals. I don't say like, oh yeah, okay, I know your end game is digitals or anything like that. No. I will say you are going to invest in a very high-end experience, and it would be an absolute shame to go and print your gorgeous images at Walmart and sabotage the image. That's something I say even before I get booked. So already they know how I feel about it. And then we do the pre-consult. Sometimes I have clients come into the studio. Most of the time I don't anymore. I do it over the phone. I'm going to fit in that welcome packet right before I do the pre-consult, either if it's a PDF or a printed thing. So that's a big deal. I feel like it's going to change the feel of the business. Then on the day of the session, what you have to really think about is you have to get the moms or your clients, your brides, whatever it is, invested in themselves. I have an amazing makeup artist. She is so awesome. Her work is amazing, but that's not only why she's awesome. She has together, like between the two of us, we have the moms relax so much, these postpartum moms where they feel pampered, like she does all these pampering things, and I take the baby, and for the first time giving birth or in months of being pregnant, they start feeling like themselves. And that is a feeling that will never be forgotten, ever. Like, her makeup is done, her lashes are done. I have the baby, and mom doesn't, I take care of the baby. I will feed the baby. If I need the baby to nurse, I'll say, okay, you need to feed the baby. But most of the time they have a bottle on hand. I feed the baby, I change the baby, I do everything with the baby. Mom doesn't really see the baby because she's getting her hair and makeup done. And I do that on purpose because she needs to relax. So Juliana, who is so awesome, talks about, her birth experiences and mom's birth experiences and, beauty care and like all the things that are relevant to being a mom and also being a woman. She's amazing. Best thing ever. And then after, we have the moms looking so beautiful, and they take all these beautiful images and they feel the baby, like they hold the baby feeling so good, and the baby's calm and settled. I've had moms cry in their sessions thinking like, oh my God, like this is the best thing ever. Literally the best thing ever. So this is, I'm kind of pointing this all out because I feel like it's a big important part of sales. You are not selling product only, okay, let me rephrase that. If you can sell the experience, you will have a good sale. That's basically it. If you can get the clients emotionally invested in the experience, you will always have a good sale. Always. So that, yeah. Okay, so after
we're selling more than just, pixels on paper. We really are selling an experience, aren't we?
Yeah.
And we're also selling a feeling or whatever. We're selling we're selling emotional things. We're not just selling a widget.
Yeah.
And that point you made is spot on. And
yeah,
take that one and run with it, everybody, because that's not just sales gold, that's photography gold.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. So also I have a studio. So I have product literally covered in every possible place you can see it. You do not have to have a studio to do this. You can bring your products with you at the shoot because again, you have to see your clients in person to shoot. So if you're shooting in somebody's home, bring the products with you and just have them kind of like, displayed. So while you are with the baby or with your client, whatever you're doing, they can kind of touch and feel in the meantime. That is a big thing. Even if they're not, touching your walls or touching the product, they're seeing them. It's a big visual, a big asset, no matter if you have a studio or you don't. All right. So then I say, I always talk about the next steps. After the session, I say, okay, we have a book time. I'm going to see you guys in a week and a half. What I've created is like these mom bags. And a lot of the people that I work with, because I do a lot of cross marketing, they put their stuff in their mom bag. So there's samples, there's, gift cards, there's whatever. And then
that's cool.
I'm sorry, but that's being written down. I'm stealing. Oh yeah, baby.
See, I told you it's
mom bags. Yep. Yes, I am.
Definitely the cross marketing, and I'm sure eventually, if this keeps on going, we're gonna talk about marketing, but that's a big thing. So I have a girl who does.
In the chat, who would like to hear marketing stuff?
Yeah. Yes. Nobody.
Okay, go on. Bill. No. Yeah. We're getting. Where do you find your clients? How do you market? What's the best way? Yeah. Go ahead.
So yeah, the mom bags, they have a whole bunch of samples. I have like numbers for basic, for people to ask for help, like, breastfeeding help, stuff like that, basic numbers. I also say, like, if you have a mom question, I have 4 kids, I've shot thousands or hundreds of babies, you can send me a text. It's no big deal. And in that bag It has a product guide. It has, okay, next steps. This is your homework. Walk around your house. Now, we've already talked about it in the pre-consult, so they already have it in their head. But, you know, the rules of, okay, what's going to happen at your your review and ordering appointment. I don't say IPS appointment. I don't say your reveal appointment. No, review and ordering appointment, because you will be ordering your images that day. There's no like, oh, let's, you know, take it home and think about it. No, no, no. That day. It's going to happen that day.
And you also have to make sure that they know all decision parties must be
Yeah.
present.
So that's like part of the rules that I include, what's expected of them on their when they come into the studio again, what to expect from me, what to expect from them, you know, kind of all that stuff. Tons of pictures of product, tons of, you know, a few paragraphs about, you know, why are digitals important? Why are they not important? You know, the idea of having heirloom images. I have a small article about having clients who have pictures of their babies on the wall. They actually increase their self-esteem and self-confidence. It is a proven thing. Kind of all stuff like that. So they go home, they're like absolutely glowing, they're so excited about it, and then, you know, when they're in bed and the baby's sleeping, they start looking through the stuff. And in that guide, I still do not have all the prices in there. I will have starting prices. So I'll say, you know, canvases start at X amount, albums start at this amount, stuff like that. Sorry. Like things like that. So they go home and they kind of absorb the great energy of the shoot, and then they start looking through the stuff and they see all these beautiful things in a tangible product. It's not like they're going on their computer, they're going on, they're flipping through something. It's something tangible. And then they come back in, and I do things a little bit different. Again, I have tons of product, way more than what normal photographers have. I have divided up my my product lines, or my products, into 4 lines. I have, you know, the classic, the jewel, the signature, and the royale. Each product category that I offer has one of those lines. So for example, I have a signature album, I have a royale album, I have a jewel album, and I have them for portfolio boxes. I've kind of sorted out the wall art in those lines as well. But when they first come in, I do a beautiful presentation. I have a big TV, and it's to music. It's personalized to the baby, so it will say, "Welcome, baby X. We're so glad the world is so lucky to have you." Stuff like that. Baby's birth date, all that stuff. And at the end it says, "Baby, you're so loved." It has beautiful music. And moms are crying, dads want to cry, everyone is happy. I don't talk during those presentations normally. I just let the music and the feel and the images just, everyone just is just crying, but happy crying. And then I say, okay, we're going to walk through the studio. And I literally get them off their feet, and we walk through the studio, and I run through every product that I have. Again, no talk about pricing whatsoever. And then after, I'll even say, like for the flush mounts, for example, I'll say, you know, dads really love these for some reason. I'm not sure, I don't know what it is about it, but dad really loves these.
Yes.
And then, like, but
Tell
it's true.
Dad.
But it's
true.
Oh,
you're good. Play the dad. Yeah, like just get him. Yeah. Oh.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
And then as soon as you say that, 9 times out of 10 they'll end up buying one of those anyways, because moms want dads to be happy and whatever. Anyways, so because I have so much product, what I've really tried to do is kind of, I know there's different needs for different clients, so I really have something for everyone. I have like the really beautiful high-end heirloom passed down. Nobody has these products, like so beautiful, where I'm like, oh my God, these are so nice. Like, And then I have, this stuff that are people like, okay, we're on a budget. So, we want like a more affordable prints. Like we want prints, but we want more affordable prints. So again, there's something for everyone. I really am trying to change my studio into like a full service isn't the right option, but lots of options for print, because print is what matters, as opposed to I'm only going to get prints that match my brand. I mean, like I don't stray far away from my brand. I just have a lot more. I have more options, as instead of having like 3 wall art and 2 albums. No, I have like 9 albums, 9 different styles. They're pretty much all Renzo, but they're all like all different styles, because I feel like something that might stick with one client may not stick with the other, and I just want to cover all my bases, and it's not overwhelming. 1 or 2 times I do have the clients who are like, whoa, like, oh my God, like so overwhelmed. And then I say, okay, if you really are not sure what to get, I have created, some pre-made packages for you. And it's just me putting together products that I think go together. And, we can look at those if you'd like. But most of the time, clients are like, after the walk around, they're like, oh my God, we really love these albums, or we really love these canvases, and we love that they're, the highest end canvases in the market. We really love that. So we need to have one of those. Again, no talk of price. I'm like, okay, let's talk about sizing. What do you think is going to look good? Then I have my cards where I'm like, this is an 11 by 14. This is, the 30 by 40. Which one do you prefer? And at that point, they're like, okay, well, the bigger ones are beautiful. And I'm like, okay, here are the pricing for the canvases. And I hand over the price list. Then most of the time, they're so emotionally involved. They're like, take whatever. Here's my credit card. Basically. And then, we finish up the sale. One thing I'm going to talk about, because it's really important, is the digitals, because I am one of those crazy, well, I don't think I'm crazy, but I am a fine art photographer. My images are fairly heavily edited. They're artwork, and I edit a collection of 60 images. The reason why I do that is because I want the clients to buy the digitals after their artwork. This is so important, because they're going to go and spend a certain amount on their artwork, and then there's no digitals included for me. That's the way I set up. We pick our artwork, then or our prints, then we pick our digitals. So my digitals are set up like this. You can buy 4, you can buy 8, or you can buy all 60. And 4 is a certain price, 8 is a certain price, and then there's like a $400 difference between the 8 and the 60, because I want them to add them on to their sale. Like I want the extra $1,000 added onto their artwork sale, because it will always cushion my sale. It brings up my levels. And then on top of that, I say, okay, payment plans, you can pay half at the time of at the order right now, half at the time of pickup. But if you pay all right now, I will send you with a USB with your digitals right now. And then 9 times out of 10, I get the money in my hands same day. And I like to do like 4 or 5 sales sessions in one day. I call them sales days, and they are great.
There's
Cha-ching,
nothing
cha-ching,
better
cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
than like, whatever payment method you use for your credit card. And it
Yeah.
goes, in my case, it's Square. Square sent you some ridiculous number today.
Yeah, I know.
And I just go, ah.
I know, it's so amazing. It's so amazing.
Like
So
I had one day where it was $16,000.
Oh,
And I was like,
so good. And it feels great. Like anyone who says it doesn't feel great, like it's, I don't know.
There's a rush to sell.
Yeah,
But there's
there
also a rush
definitely
to
is.
not selling like a slimy used car salesman. Like when people leave after the ordering session and they're like, they want to be your best friend and they just paid you a lot of money,
They're
you've done
happy
your
to
job.
pay. Yeah, they're happy to pay. They thank you.
Yeah.
they're amazed with the experience. They say, I totally understand now why you were saying that print is so important. I get that all the time. And then I also get the clients who are like, text me like, a week later and say, hey, the baby's doing this. What do you think? Do you see what I mean? But like, that's awesome, because then I have somebody who's like, okay, well, we have to go with Francine for our 6-month shoot, our first year shoot, because she kind of is there. Like, she's almost a friend. And that it's about a relationship at that point. Like, one of my best friends used to be my client. She thinks that she's still my client, but I don't think I would actually charge her for anything. Hopefully she's not listening.
Oh, she's worked you then.
Maybe, but definitely, like, I have a ton of moms after who are like, the baby's making this, coughing sound or whatever, and it's just all about building a relationship. Anyways, that's all I have to say.
Let me just I want to highlight a few things that Francine said, but they didn't actually come out of her mouth. That like they were just like concepts that I wanted to elaborate on a little bit, because they're really awesome. You said, like, when you were talking, like, it's not always about price. It's not always about price. When you make it about price, it becomes an issue, right? Like, that is such a key element of sales in general. I don't care whether they're in person or what, but if you are selling to someone, if you start talking about price, if, like, here's this album and it's $3,000. No, here's this beautiful album. It's got your images in it. Like, don't talk price. That was probably one of the most fundamental things I heard you say that you didn't say, but you meant, but you said.
Yes, all of that.
Whatever. So, and the other thing you did that I'm not sure everybody picked up on, when you talked about, what was your top package, the Royale?
Yeah, the Royale.
Okay, the Royale's the top line. When you said that, I'm not sure if you guys were watching Francine, but her body language and her tone changed. Okay, it's my Royale package. It is the best. It is, you effectively made that thing desirable by your body language. All right, you can't sell anything to anyone if you have no charisma. That, like, I'm not talking about a slimy salesman, but a good salesperson, they will have some oomph, and they have some swagger, and they make you want that thing. And that's what you did. And I know you were just talking to us, but you obviously have the belief in your own products to make that viable.
Yeah.
Belief in your own products.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's
in
a
your
strong.
own self. I need to say that too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But when you're selling your own service, you have to have that belief in yourself, let alone the belief in your products that they're amazing.
I think you also, like, before you go on, you have to be conscious of exactly that, of the things that you say about your products. Like, for the Royal album, I will say things like, there is no photographer, professional or not, who sell these. This is my design. I came up with this concept, and it is completely exclusive. Nobody has it. And, like, say things like that.
Use words like that. Exclusive, luxury. Like, when you start to use those words are really strong.
Don't write it out just on your website, but say it when you're talking to people.
Yeah, 100%.
That's called direct sales. All right. Hard sale is, can I take your credit card?
Yeah.
Right. But the indirect stuff, that's where your skill in becoming a good and successful photographer / salesperson, because, be honest, we have to be salespeople, right? No way around it. But having those skills, like that tonality and intonation and passion and just that charm, it's amazing how much that probably constitutes more of my sales, if I'm just speaking for me, than anything. So that was a point. Like I had to bring that up because you probably didn't even know you were doing it, Francine. It's just you were, and it hit me instantly when I saw you do it, and like I was writing it down like as you did it. And then the other thing that sort of ties into something you said, I don't remember what the exact context was, but communicating to people about your product as much as possible, and that goes into not just phone consults, pre-shoot consults, stuff like that, but in all your marketing materials. So like if you have an email drip campaign that people are on, don't just do testimonials, don't just do what to expect in a session, talk about the finished product and do one, like I'm redoing my email sequences right now. They are now gonna be, I think, 38 or 40 different emails over the course of 8 months. Some of them are a little more front heavy, like there's gonna be a few and then they go week by week by week after that. I gotta tell you, like a big part of this is finished product that I mentioned. Like you're showing this to them over and over and over again. Like by the time they see it, it should be like, wow, it's even more pretty in person. Like it shouldn't be a surprise like they just saw it for the first time. So just as another little, didn't necessarily, it ties into IPS and it doesn't. I guess I just try to get everybody to figure out IPS starts sometimes like at the console and sometimes even before when they're just looking. Like all of these things you're gonna do, like they take time to get through to people. And the more you can do that, the more successful it is. And I was really thinking about that the other day, like what are some of the keys to success in IPS? And believe it or not, I'd say it pre-shoot communication.
Yeah.
Even before they're a customer. Right? And when I say it, you're probably like, yeah, duh, right? That's super obvious. But how many of us are really, truly doing that well? And how many of us could legitimately say there might be a few minutes that we could spend to maybe do a little bit more?
Yeah.
With that being said, do either of you two have any other things you want to add? Because we, like always, we run late.
Unless there's any other questions. If you guys have any questions, now would be the time to ask. But other than that, no.
But yeah, I think we had a really, this was like, there's a lot of like juicy little tidbits there. And I'm hoping that everybody got a few pieces to this. We're gonna continue on next week. And we got a few more ideas, and it looks like a few of you might want some marketing ideas. Just looking at the chat, there seems to be a few of you. But thanks everybody for hanging out tonight. This was a lot of fun. Thanks Francine, thanks Shiri. It's always fun talking to you two. Like I love that I'm like supposed to be a presenter in this, and I walk away with ideas.
Yeah.
This is like, so what? I gotta like moderate people. Big deal. But I like, these are worth me showing up just because I get some cool ideas that I don't even do the same genre of photography as you. But yet these things are so universal that we can take ideas. So everybody, thanks a lot. We're gonna talk to everybody a little later. Night.